Over the last decade, I've caught fish in every corner of North America. From California to Mexico, Florida to New York, and all the way up to Canada, documenting it all on video for you guys.
Yes! I got it!
But as a video creator and instructor, I have generally left out one of the most important and the largest demographics in the world of fishing, and that is the bank beater, the pond prowler, the shore master.
Yeah!
In this series, I'm making it my goal to fish more bodies of water than I ever have before, but this time, from the bank. My name's Tyler, and this is 100 Ponds.
Dun 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 dun. 100 Ponds is back. What's up, folks? Let's do this. And y'all in the comments have been absolutely ruthless lately, being like, Tyler, why are you not fishing ponds anymore? Are you just gonna live scope your life away? Heck no, I love pond fishing. But even in Texas, the wintertime pond fishing can be pretty difficult, so I've kind of taken a few months off, but we are back with a vengeance in 2024. I hope to finish the 100 Pond series this year, and of course, teach you guys everything I learned along the way. But as usual, my tackle is not rigged yet. So I'm grabbing some of my wintertime pre-spawn mainstays, that being a red vibrating jig, thunder cricket, and a suspending jerkbait. If y'all have missed my recent suspending jerkbait in cold water tips video, I will leave that down below. I think it's a really helpful video, and for some reason it didn't gain much traction, so go check it out. A brand new sponsor of the channel is Evolution Fishing. I'm using their largemouth tackle bag for all my pond adventures, as well as all the tackle boxes in my kayak and my bass boat. They make some awesome stuff, and we've got some pretty cool products that I'm helping design coming in the future. So the whole 100 Pond series is presented by them. They're an awesome company. Go ahead and support them if you can. And in case the fish need a little bit of finesse in their lives, I'm gonna still go moving bait, but I'm gonna go with a finesse little Rage swimmer on, I think it's an 1/8 ounce 2/0 Outcast swim bait head. I mean, super small finesse little slow roll bait fish presentation. Well, enough chit chat. We got all 3 rods rigged. I am ready to catch some bass at pond number 63. Now, as always, I want to start by talking about the conditions of today's fishing. It is early February, and even though I'm in just a sun shirt and light pants, it is definitely still wintertime here in Texas. It's the first day above 70 we've had all year. And so even though we have warm air temperatures, the water temperature is more than likely not warm at all. It's probably still in the 50s. So the bass, even though it's nice outside, they still think it's wintertime conditions. So I'm gonna throw my, early pre-spawn, late winter lures for ponds, and that is vibrating jig, suspending jerkbait, lipless crankbait, really a ton of different moving baits, but I'm gonna fish them a little slower than I would here in a few weeks, and especially slower than I do in the summer or the fall. I'm pretty sure this corner of the pond here is the only one that has any kind of laydowns and sticks, but it's so cold still, the water is at least, I don't think the fish are gonna be using the shallow timber. They're gonna be out there in the middle, probably off of any kind of drop off we have in this pond. You can probably tell from the drone shot, we have pretty clear water clarity, and the shoreline, as you see from this B-roll shot here, has all kinds of that snotty, nasty grass. So it's a good thing the fish are not that shallow, because I don't have to deal with that today. I'm gonna start by fishing this little corner right here with the vibrating jig. It may be a little bit too aggressive for these fish this time of year, but maybe there's a few active ones we can pick off with this before we move to the suspending jerkbait and the small swim bait. Man, I'm realizing, even out in the middle in this corner here by these cattails, it is pretty dang shallow. So I'm not sure if any section of the pond is going to be really, productive right now, because the water's still so cold besides the fountain and on that way. So I'm going to make a few casts in this corner, but I'm really not going to spend a whole lot of time over here because I don't think it's worth my time. I think come springtime, definitely a shallow swim bait, topwater frog, soft plastics could kill it in this corner, but I don't think right now the fish are even up here. And as much as I want to catch them on the vibrating jig, I'm not sure if this is going to be the play today. I'm going to go with it for another, 40 to 50 yards, maybe across the dam that way. But if I don't get a bite, it's probably a little bit too early. I would like for them to bite this lure, but something in me tells me it's not the right play. Oh, no way. Oh, there we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. A nice one. I'm pretty sure he ate it on the bottom, almost like a jig would. I barely had started my retrieve and this guy was on there. So you know what? I'm happy that we have one hooked. Beautiful winter bass. Come on. I'm gonna water ski in here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get in here. Oh my goodness. And he is absolute sandpaper bass. I mean, like, look at how thin that guy is. Super pretty, but not the quality I expect out of a wintertime fish. I bet the forage in here is not nearly what it should be for good population, but thank you, my friend. That's awesome. All right, well, that tells me they might not want it moving that fast, because I'm pretty sure that guy ate it on the fall. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my swim bait. Well, first of all, that's a success at pond 63. If you're new here to the series, all I gotta do is catch one bass at each pond, and that's considered a success. And you know what? Successes can also be, I learned something but didn't catch anything, but I would much rather catch one, and that's my success. So why did I pick up a swim bait here? Well, it's because if I caught one right there, my educated guess tells me there might be more in the area. And it's not that I can't catch them on the vibrating jig, but I feel like a little finessey presentation. Kind of wish I had a drop shot on. That's probably my best way to go about catching another one in that area, but I'm pumped, man. 100 Ponds is back. Oh, oof. First cast with this reel, and I did not set it up for a light jerkbait. Uh-oh. Nope. I almost cast again without changing any settings. Look at that, my brakes were on minimum. That's no good. There we go, beautimous. 1, 2, 3, jerk. And I'm gonna let it sit for 2, 3, 4, 5, jerk, jerk. 1, 2, 3. Giving it that good long pause is critical in this cold water. Can you make them react? Of course you can, but the majority of the time you're gonna catch more fish by letting it sit dang still. Woo! The wind is picking up, folks. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that my jerkbait, I mean, even halfway through the cast, I feel like it's getting that snotty grass on it. So as much as I want to throw this, I'm not sure until I get the drone up in the sky where the good deep areas are. It's probably just by the fountain, to be honest, to throw this thing. So I may have to go back to the vibrating jig just to cover water and keep it away from the snot grass, because my jerkbait really seems to be digging down into it, and that's not what I want. So it's one of those things where I know the right lure, and if I was in a bass boat, or a kayak, I could be out in the middle, keeping my lure away from all this stuff. But because I'm on the bank, and especially this section here along the dam, it's pretty shallow sloping. A lot of my cast, unless I bomb it way out there, is just kind of useless because the jerkbait really digs into that grass. That's why I'm keeping my rod tip up. Usually with a jerkbait, I'm jerking it down like this, but I'm actually going up for the last half of the cast to try and keep that jerkbait up above this snot. And it's not working really well, but I'm trying. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yuck. Well, we have reached the windy corner of the pond, and I normally love windy corners no matter the time of the year, but I can tell just by looking at this corner that it is so stinking shallow. So I put the jerkbait away, I got the Thunder Cricket back out, and I probably have to retrieve this thing like pretty dang fast to keep it above the snot grass. But I'm realizing this pond really only, at least for this time of the year, has two effective areas to fish away from the snot grass, and that is that side toward the fountain in the main body of water, and that side toward the fountain in the main body of water. So after making a few casts, I'm probably gonna pack my stuff up and head around that side. Man, even over here, it's still looking pretty shallow sloping, so I'm gonna have to put the jerkbait fully away, I think, until I get back to the other side and just fish the vibrating jig and the swim bait. All the way to the fountain, baby. Yeah, so much snot grass. I can't believe this grass has grown, or this moss, I should say, has grown so much, and it's like still winter. So when I come back here in the spawn, post spawn, it's gonna be like a swimming worm, topwater frog, maybe a buzzbait. That's about it. Let's see if this little guy can get us one. Every single cast, look at this. Yuck. Man, forget this. I'm going back to the one place I can fish in this whole dang pond, which is over there. It's gonna make me a few casts to where I caught my first fish with the vibrating jig. See if any of his buddies want to bite. All I want to do is show you to the camera just for a second. I'll let you go, I promise. And since that didn't work, we're gonna lock a jerkbait in our hands in the deepest section of the lake where we started, because I really feel like a suspending jerkbait is the way to catch them if you can just present it in front of their face. So for the last few minutes, we're gonna stay right here with the jerkbait, whether we catch one or not. What do I got? I don't got a fish, that's for sure. And it feels like it's coming my way. Oh no, I caught the dang rope. Oh, what the heck. I guess every fountain's got a rope. I had no clue where this fountain's rope was, but a jerkbait's a great way to find them. Oh, whoa, let's go. Pulled it off, baby. Ended up bending out one of my hooks, but we're still gonna send it. And now I know for the future that the cable runs from there to there and also probably there to there. Well, you know, man, even though we technically had a success in this pond, I still feel like it was slightly a failure. I did catch one, I did learn some stuff, but I didn't catch them in the way that especially the vibrating jig was meant to catch them. And I thought the jerkbait was the ticket, but at least for me today, it wasn't. But for now, let's pack up our tackle bag, get on the road, and we'll see you guys at pond number 64. And as we get down to pond 64, I'm realizing a few things are happening here. Number one, we had a super warm night last night. I say super warm, it was like 55. So when it comes to water temperature cooling in the night and then warming in the day, there shouldn't be that big of a swing in today's body of water. So if the fish were in a pre-spawn mood, they should be even more in a pre-spawn mood. And if they're not, maybe by the time I'm filming this video, which it is 11:34 in the morning, hopefully these fish are in an active feeding mood. The conditions we have, it is a few days later. We've had a minor cold front, but not anything super serious. And now, of course, like I said, a warm day. Relatively clear water. It looks like maybe 2-foot visibility. The shoreline here has all kinds of whatever nasty grass, but naturally it's February. The fish are not going to be all the way up shallow here in Texas. And so I'm going to throw the lure that I told you guys, I promised in a video that I was gonna fish more in 2024, and that is a spinnerbait. I've got a Strike King Tour Grade with 2 Indiana blades, actually, a little crossover between Willow and Colorado. So that right there is gonna be my #1 tactic for today. And then I had a chick magnet tied on. I'm realizing just how shallow and sloping this bank is. A chick magnet's gonna dive a little too deep, so we're gonna go with a Hybrid Hunter shallow if I have one, which I feel like I do. Well, I don't think I have a shallow one, but I do have a Hybrid Hunter Junior. Matter of fact, all my Hybrid Hunters are Junior, so I'm gonna go ahead and tie that on and just fish it real slow. I think these 2 lures right here, 1-2 punch, can catch us some big springtime bass. And I'm realizing now that I'm not going the direction I want to. I like to work and cast my ponds the other direction, so I'm actually gonna take a really long walk right now to the other side of the pond and begin our fishing there. All right, we have reached the total other side of the pond. And this one here has a really cool canal that goes that way and then kind of the main body of the pond. And all throughout this pond, we have some bubblers that provide a little bit of aeration, probably why the water is not super muddy and dirty. Because with all the rain around here mixed with the muddy bottom I see in this pond, I'm surprised it's not like dirt clarity. But I really feel like a little chartreuse and white spinnerbait, slow rolled on the bottom, can catch me a pre-spawn fatty. Come on now. And it's way too shallow here. We gotta move. Oh gosh, as I say that, a fish busts right here on shad. As I say that, I thought it was too shallow. All right, I'll stick around. What do I know? And even though I just saw a fish bust right there, I really feel like I need a little more depth for this time of year. I just don't think the majority of the fish in these ponds are this shallow right now. That's why I'm slow rolling a spinnerbait, because I want it to get down deeper in the water column. And the banks that I'm on right now, I mean, you can probably see my chest now. You can see the bottom like 10 feet out. There's one. There's one. Yes, sir. Get in here. Hey. And that's my first bass of the year on a spinnerbait. I committed to it and I caught one. And that guy ate just like they do in almost every pond out there during this time of the year on the drop. At the exact spot I can no longer see the bottom, that's where this fish was sitting, and that's what I'm gonna target the whole rest of this pond. Good grief, that thing trucked it. Actually scared me, I'm kind of breathing hard. And with how slow that fish needed the spinnerbait rolling in order to get it to bite, it makes me think they're not gonna bite the Hybrid Hunter. You know, if I had deeper water and I could really, you know, crank it and pause it without grabbing snodgrass, I would throw it more, but I'm either gonna put that rod down or tie something else on, because I just don't think, for today's conditions in today's pond, it is suited for the hunter, but it is suited for the spinnerbait. And I'm slow rolling my spinnerbait right along the edge of the break, and I hope I'll catch one that weighs about 8 on my spinnerbait. Pow! Part of me thinks they're still not quite up shallow yet. I mean, I know the weather's right, but maybe it's just like a time of the year, length of day, moon phase thing, and these fish just are still out in the middle, hunkered on the bottom, and I don't want to catch them that way anymore. Maybe I'll get one on this little water culvert thing. Dang, the only structure in the water. You know, one thing that can make you more efficient during certain times of the year is knowing how long of a cast to make and when to give up on your cast. So like in today's example, the one bite that I've gotten that I'm going off of as my one clue was right on the break. So I'm not gonna make a really far bomb cast, just kind of a 20, 30 yard cast, then start my retrieve. And maybe instead of retrieving it all the way back to the bank, once I can see my spinnerbait and it's kind of in the shallow realm of area, like right there, where a fish is probably not gonna come eat it, especially this time of year, they're not quite that aggressive yet, I'm gonna retrieve my cast and make another one right away, just so I can make sometimes duplicate casts to one area, whereas other times of the year, I might not make the same cast to one area over and over. So once I get right here to a shallow area, there we go, past the area they're gonna eat, make another cast, not too far though, let it sink and begin my slow retrieve. So now, will doing this technique cause you to catch more fish? Well, by the statistics, it kind of has to. I'm not sure if every day you do it, you're gonna catch more, but the angler usually who makes more efficient casts catches more fish, maybe not by the day, but by the week or by the year. So in learning, maybe in the summertime, it's only the deep water has fish. And once your big worm gets to 5 feet or less, you bring it back in and bomb another cast. Maybe the fish are spawning, and so you know they're not gonna be way out there in the middle. They're gonna be on the bank only. So I'm only gonna throw my soft plastics, top waters up against the bank and up against cover. So you kind of gotta understand where the fish might be positioned in your body of water to then make the most efficient cast for that time of year, which I'm trying to do. It's not working, there's not enough bass, but hopefully it works. And the bummer about ponds like this is that there's really not a whole lot of structural change to the bottom. You're kind of just fishing whatever drop off or ledge or deep hole you got. And man, especially with most of these 100 Ponds episodes being at places I've never fished before, I'm kind of forced to throw reaction baits like this because I don't know which areas I should slow down and dissect more of. And so I wish we had like some rocks or sticks or just, I don't know, more fountains that I could target, but there's not a whole lot. So I kind of feel like I'm fishing blind right now. And for an angler who has a 22-inch live scope screen on his bass boat, fishing blind is not something I'm used to doing anymore, even though I'm trying to force myself, especially in this series, to do a lot more of it. I honestly think this pond today needs a little bit of wind on it for these reaction bait bites to get a little bit better. The place that I got my bite at earlier, the one fish I've caught, I mean, didn't have wind necessarily, but it was a little bit of a ripple, and it's like dead calm over here. So not saying you can't catch them on a spinnerbait when it's dead calm, but it's definitely not ideal. I'm reeling too fast. I'm getting antsy. Haven't caught one in like an hour. Slow down, Tyler. Slow down. What the heck? Well, I just heard from my friend over there who's fishing named Mike that some other friends of his just caught a 5-pounder way on the other side of the pond on a Ned rig, little, you know, probably 2-inch, 3-inch soft plastic on a Carolina rig. Which, I mean, you know what? The Bass Forecast rating today, I'll put it on the screen. It did show that slow is the best retrieve speed. And so time and time again, I don't follow Bass Forecast, and it proves me wrong almost every time. Like a few times, I'll force the fish to bite something, they will, and I'm more happy because I caught them on a more fun thing, but can't win them all, and today we definitely didn't hardly win at all. Well, the moral of the story today, I think, is that I wasn't doing the right thing. You know, I wanted to fish fast. Bass Forecast told me to fish slow. I didn't listen, and so I guess lesson 1, download Bass Forecast and actually follow it. And then lesson 2 that kind of goes along with lesson 1 is that, man, fish like things slow. I know we all want to catch them on reaction baits, myself included. You saw me try to do it at 2 ponds in a row. And even though I tried to jerk bait, the fish didn't eat it there. If I had slowed down on this pond today, and you're gonna see this theme kind of run throughout all the 100 Ponds episodes, or at least most of them, is that I just don't have time to slow down. I've got so many videos to make, so much sponsor stuff, a wife and a kid at home, and so if I'm gonna go to a brand new pond I've never been to and try to fish really, really slow, I might end up wasting a whole lot of time. The upside is that I could discover an offshore, you know, off the bank area, catch 2 or 3 nice ones, maybe a giant on a slow moving technique, or I could get to a pond and waste an entire day and get no videos done. And so that's kind of why I verge more towards the reaction baits. A, they're more fun, and B, I can usually cover water and still catch some fish. But I kind of want to go back to some ponds, even though I've already fished them in the series, fish them again and go slower at them now that I know some of the best areas in these ponds, and I feel like I might catch a few more good fish. And that, folks, is gonna bring an end to another 100 Ponds episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. In 2024, I wanna try to make one 100 Ponds episode every single week so we can finish this series in this calendar year. If you wanna see my last 100 Ponds video, I will leave it up here in the corner. And one that kind of applies to the conditions today and how I caught them in a different episode, that one will be up in this corner. My name is Tyler. As always, it's a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next time right here on TRF.